you there? Oh, good.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Just looking into how to share my...
On my screen, it was down the bottom. There's like a green share screen at the bottom in the middle.
Just looking for my presentation, actually. Can you see my presentation?
You can see your screen, I think. Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
Now, brilliant. Well then, again, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me today. It's a real pleasure. And again, I know I'm yet again a new face from the Commission to this community. And I'm really, really happy to actually have the honor to open this festival today. It's quite a particular format, but I'm really looking forward also to the series of events. And especially since it's the last Climate Europe Festival, and I really hope this will actually contribute to shape its legacy. As said, my name is Anika Huck. I'm actually a seconded expert from the European Space Agency to the European Commission. And just to say, I mean, Climate Europe really was one of the first projects which was funded under Horizon 2020 and which embodies actually this transition from a more science-driven approach to a more user-oriented approach. And it has been really, really crucial. And in fact, this project has actually demonstrated how to build up such a community around the entire value-adding chain, spanning not only from the climate observation and modeling, but actually until the end users. And this is something really, really unique. And you really brought together experts not only from academia, but also from operational services, innovation actors, and the final users. And 5 years down the road, I can actually see so many participants joining today. It actually shows that you managed to bring this community together and you did a marvelous job there. So thank you for that. And looking now actually into the future, the von der Leyen Commission put at the heart of its program the European Green Deal. And information and knowledge on climate change, on its impact and on adaptation options are extremely crucial to reach these objectives. And what is even more crucial is that knowledge is translated and operationalized into risk management practices and operation and good decision making at all different levels. And these challenges exist not only in terms of science barriers, but also for the uptake of this information. So what is really important for us also in future to really tackle the last mile of climate services. And I know also your project and the entire network has turned your experience and science gaps and challenges into recommendation. And this has been most useful and crucial during the preparation of Horizon Europe these days. And today I would actually like to take the opportunity to give you some more insight, the current state of play of the preparation of the next Research and Innovation Framework Program. So, just to give you a little bit more background where I'm coming from, I'm working currently in DG Research and Innovation and Director at the Healthy Planet and in the unit which deals with climate and planetary boundaries. And our goal is actually to support a transition to a healthy planet which is climate neutral by 2050. And we're particularly looking into strengthening scientific knowledge on global climate change and to also provide support to better evidence-based policy and decision-making, like also through international processes like the IPCC. And secondly, we also would like to develop a fit-for-purpose planetary observation system for future decision-making. So I will give you also today a little history lesson on Horizon Europe, so to say. So currently the Commission is working on its new proposal, which will start in 2021 and will end in 2027. And it has proposed a budget of 100 billion euros in 2018 when it was drafting the current, when it was drafting its new proposal. And this new initiative is actually prepared together now with a recovery plan aimed at helping the EU to come out of the looming recession set in motion by the coronavirus pandemic. And currently we're in a stage where we're still discussing actually the budget for the next framework program. Last year in March, the EU has actually reached a common understanding, the so-called partial general agreement, which was then also adopted by the Council. And currently we're still in the preparation of the implementation, but I will give you some more insight on that later on. Maybe just to explain you, for those ones who are not so familiar with the current structure, with the proposed structure of Horizon Europe, the program will be actually implemented through science, and it will support frontier research projects defined and driven by researchers themselves through the European Research Council. Then the second one, which is the most relevant for us today, is Pillar 2, so-called the Global Challenges and Industrial Competitiveness Pillar, which will support directly research relating to societal challenges. And the third pillar is then the Open Innovation Pillar, which aims to make Europe a front runner in market creating innovation. And in Pillar 2, there are actually various clusters, and 3 of them are most relevant to this community here. There's Cluster 4, which deals with digital industry in space, and this includes Earth observation. And this one will actually be relevant for the evolution of the Copernicus services, and especially of the Copernicus Climate Change Service. Then we also have Cluster 5, which deals with climate, energy, and mobility. And to give you some insights, we're trying through this specific area, which deals with climate science and solution, to strengthening the link between climate modeling and climate service. And we would like to advance the integration of climate information and into the relevant sectors. We would like to help in the development of climate services sectors by identifying and addressing barriers, in particular for uptake in the public sector. We would like to also improve the trust between the supply and the demand. We'd like to identify the climate services potential for replication, upscaling, and market readiness. Furthermore, to support the standardization of climate services, including quality assessment and interoperability. And lastly, to provide also best practices and guidance and verification methods for models, output, and service products. In addition to this, there's also Cluster 6, which deals with food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. And they have highlighted actually the area of intervention, environmental observations. And through this area of intervention, we would like to deliver climate services for the climate transition using the broad range of environmental observations under the EuroGeo initiatives. For those ones of you who are not familiar with the EuroGeo initiative, this is actually the regional initiative of so-called GEO, the Group on Earth Observation. This is a global non-governmental organization, and the European Commission is a very active member of this group. And then secondly, we would also like to develop end-user solutions in the area of climate change adaptation and focusing on monitoring of ecosystem and biodiversity. And lastly, also customizing of prototypes and end-user services in the area of climate change adaptation and mitigation. As anticipated before, following the political agreement, the Commission has now begun a strategic planning process, and the results of this process will be set out in a multi-annual strategic plan to prepare the content of the work programs and calls for proposals for the first 4 years of Horizon Europe. And the strategic planning process focuses mostly on Pillar 2, so the one we have discussed or I've presented before. And the process will identify among others, key areas for research and innovation support and targeted impacts. It will also identify European partnerships, missions, as well as areas of international collaboration. So you see there's a wide range of potential mechanisms that might be of interest to you in the future. And the strategic planning process includes a co-design process that took place over the summer and autumn last year. And this will help us now to prepare actually the strategic plan for Horizon Europe. And more than 7,000 correspondents have been collected through a web-based survey. And last year, there were also the so-called Research and Innovation Days, which took place in Brussels, and there were 4,000 participants. And we also collected feedback from these participants on the proposed Horizon Europe initiative. And currently we're preparing the first work programs, and again to enable the official start of Horizon Europe 1st of January 2021. Maybe lastly, I would like to highlight that also under the current research framework program, H2020, there are also two very relevant calls under the umbrella of the European Green Deal call, which shall be published in September, hopefully. And can you still hear me? And the Commission is, yeah?
Yes, sorry, yes. I was muted. Yes, we can still hear you.
No, I just received a message that my internet connection was unstable, but good. Then I just go ahead. And the Commission is actually reinforcing the Green Deal related research and innovation through this dedicated calls, so the so-called European Green Deal call for proposals, as said, under Horizon 2020. And there are two specific proposals which I would like to draw your attention to today. The first one is about climate resilient innovation packages for EU regions. And as you might have heard, there is the Horizon Europe mission on adaptation to climate change, including societal transformation. And this call will actually test, evaluate, and scale up a range of adaptation solutions with the aim to trigger societal transformation among key community systems that are central to resilient building and sustainable growth. And these actions funded under this call topic will serve as early facilitators in predefining and upscaling the most promising cross-sectoral solutions. And the second topic relevant to this community, I believe, is developing end-user products and services for all stakeholders and citizens, supporting climate adaptation and mitigation. And action should inform citizens and decision makers about the impact of climate change in the decades to come, identify adaptation options, and illustrate pathways towards climate neutrality, entail in terms of production, consumption, planning, and lifestyle. And in particular, the last mile of climate service deliveries shall be tackled for the most relevant sectors in delivery and deliver solutions towards meeting the decarbonization goals of the European Green Deal. You can see actually the draft call text online. There has been a stakeholder consultation ongoing. It has been just closed beginning of this month, but nevertheless it has been also a premiere for us that actually a draft call text is already publicly available. So I invite you to actually have a look at the text. And again, we're currently working on finalizing these calls, and I hope that the plan is that will go out in September. Well, with this, I thank you. And again, if you're interested in Horizon Europe, I invite you actually to go on our website. There you can find much more information, but I'm obviously also here to answer your questions if I can. Then thank you so much for your interest.
Thank you very much. It's one of the strange features where we have, I don't know, over 100 people join and you won't hear us clapping. So I'm sorry about that, but thank you very much. That was very useful. I mean, this clearly is central to the coming years and beyond. So